Good morning, YouTubers. T-Squared here with T-Squared Talk. Hope everybody's having a great day. I know my day was an awesome day. And today I got a cool video, but I can already tell you some people out there are going to hate this video. It is a little bit doom and gloom. It's a little bit of doom and gloom, the direction that we're going. It's based off a couple of things that happen. The first one being a comment, and it's not the first time I've heard a comment like this, about how I seem like maybe I am putting precious metals a little too high of a priority. I actually had a friend of mine tell me this before, and we've talked about it, and I've actually had a person leave a comment yesterday and talked about it. And I totally understand that there has to be a fine balance. It doesn't solely come down to silver. You need to build memories. You need to have a little fun. We're not going to live forever. However, I tend to do sometimes dumb things if I have extra money. And sometimes they work out good, like it happened today, and sometimes it don't. And here's another reason why I think it's important that we're pushing ourselves a little bit more to stack. There are a lot of people out there. I'm not saying anyone in particular. However, people tend to, when they not only have too much money, do they sometimes make dumb choices with it, but sometimes they become more ungrateful for what they have. And I am solely guilty for this sometimes, as I was today. In today's video, I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about that. If you enjoyed today's video, please hit the thumbs up button. I know not everybody's going to enjoy it. It's has a happy ending for me, because you guys know yesterday's video I said I didn't get to go to the casino, and I was a little upset that it didn't pan out. I didn't get to go. I really wanted to go, and it didn't. And I went to see a foreign friend of mine, and he said, you know what, buddy? If it was meant to be, it would have been. You would have gotten to go. And you know what? I know you watch a lot of these YouTube videos of people winning big on slots, little short clips. And I said, I do. And he goes, but they're not giving money away, trust me. And I said, I know, but it's a little fun. I enjoy going. I enjoy gambling. But I got too short of a notice for the opportunity to go, so I didn't get to go. And so he said, well, if it was going to be, it would have been. Don't worry about it. And I said, well, I'm going to buy a lottery ticket. And I do have a purpose where I'm getting to this. And there is a lottery ticket that I bought. And this is where I ended up having to go for my lottery ticket. I was pretty ecstatic. And turned out it was a $1,000 winner. So I was pretty happy to have hit that. But the story that happened was, at first, I bought the lottery ticket, and I told him, I'm going to buy a ticket. Maybe I'll win enough to at least go eat lunch. And I didn't even scratch off the lottery ticket. I just scratched the barcode. For those of you that don't know what that means, at the bottom of every lottery ticket, there is a barcode, and it looks like this. You can just, if you want, all you got to do is just scratch the barcode and scan it at the store, and you don't even have to scratch off the ticket. And that's what I did. And it said Contact Lottery Commission. And instantly, I was so happy. I was excited. I was like, oh, maybe it's $7.5 million. Maybe it's the big one. Maybe it's 50 grand, 100 grand. And then when I scratched it off to find out what it was, I go, oh, it's only $1,000. And the guy looked at me and said, dude, that's the problem with you Americans. He goes, that's exactly, and this is a friend of mine. So he said it, and we talk about this stuff a lot. He goes, instead of looking up and saying, thank you for the blessings, you jump to, it's only $1,000. 5 minutes ago, you would have been happy if you just won a free lunch, $20. And I said, oh, you're right. I don't know why that popped into my head and it even popped out of my mouth. That's a prime example. People nowadays are kind of ungrateful. And that's kind of why I put a lot of my extra money into precious metals. Because the truth of the matter is, when you have extra money, you tend to do crazy things. If I had gone to the casino this weekend, I would have more than lost, probably, realistically, I would have probably lost a fair amount of money. And doing that, maybe it can make things a downer, make the holiday season a downer. Who knows? A lot of things can happen. But where I'm going in today's video, that took me 5 minutes to get to the point, I apologize, is people, it's not just me in that one situation. It's the more we have, the more ungrateful we get. And that's why I do tend to try to squeeze as much money into precious metals as I can. And like I said, I know this video is not a typical video for me, but I really wanted to talk about it because the guy that owns the store is also a close friend of mine. He's a foreigner, and we talk a lot about food, religion, diet, money, and we joke with each other too. Like he teases me about being a white boy, and I tease him sometime about being a foreigner. And man, why is it all foreigners own convenience stores? All of them. And he said, the truth of the matter is, it's easy to make jokes about it, but the truth of the matter is the average American does not even know what money is. And I said, and now this is a topic that's near and dear to me. And I said, what do you mean by that? He goes, they just don't understand it. Nobody works for what they have anymore. They just charge it. Everybody puts. I go, how many people use their card? He goes, literally 95% of the people that come in the convenience store will use a credit card or a debit card. Most of them do not have the money to buy whatever they're buying, whether that be cigarettes, alcohol, beer, gas, whatever. And because people don't understand it, they literally, if you don't understand what money is, then you really aren't going to ever have any. And that kind of bums to say that, because when you look at the average American, they are in debt. They have a zero net worth, if not a negative net worth. People that stack silver, we could sell our stacks tomorrow and be in the plus. I'm pretty confident almost every single person watching this channel, if they sold off their silver, gold in some cases, stacks, you would be in the positive. You probably understand how to manage your money because you're a stacker. As we continue to talk about this, he told me, he goes, I was explaining how I wanted to someday go to the Philippines, and we've talked about this before, and he said, the thing too about here in America, Americans are not resourceful. We're not. Let's be honest. How many times do you drive down the street and you see something that's pretty cool on the side of the road because they don't want it anymore? Totally disregarded. How much stuff gets thrown away every year? I was talking to one lady one day, and she was cleaning out her house and just getting rid of stuff. And I said, "Ooh, you going to do a yard sale?" She goes, "Nah, I'm not going to mess with that. I'm just going to throw it away. I don't want any of this stuff." And I'm like, "Ooh, if you're going to throw it away, can I look through it beforehand?" She said, "Yeah, I don't care. You take it all if you want." There's so many things that could be done with that stuff, and it just goes in the trash. I sometimes go to a store in the city, and they sell fruits and vegetables really cheap. I'm talking super cheap. And the other day I went, and they had cranberries. And a pound of cranberries was like $1. But if you wanted a whole case of them, it was $3. Obviously, there's no rhyme or reason. They want to make the deal so good that you buy a case and he gets to blow them out. And I was going to buy one, and then I had seen that. And I said, you know what? I'll take a whole case. So my friend asked me. We were talking. I told him what I had bought. He goes, "What are you going to do with all them cranberries?" I said, "Honestly, I'm probably going to use 2, maybe 3 bags, and I'm going to throw away the rest." And you guys seen, how many cranberries can you really use? I know this sounds wasteful. You'll hear where I'm going in a minute. I can't use that many cranberries. 36 bags of cranberries, 36 16-ounce, 1-pound bags of cranberries. Cannot use it at all. And so I said, why, you want half of them? He said, yeah, I'll take them. So I give him half the bags, and I kept the other half. And the next day he comes in, he brings in cranberry juice. And I said, what's this? He said, just drink it. I said, okay. So I drink it, and it was so good. And he goes, see, that's what being resourceful is. A lot of Americans think kind of like me. They're not as resourceful as they could be. I would have never in a million years thought about cranberry juice. Yes, some stuff I think about, some stuff I don't. I can tell you today, when I made that comment, I felt bad. Only $1,000. And he looked at me and he said, instead of being thankful for what you just got, you say only. And instead of people that get blessings of, maybe you have a windfall come in, or maybe you, in this case, got all them cranberries, you throw it away. You eat your full and just throw it away. I know not everybody does this, so I'm not calling anybody out. I'm simply stating that when you train yourself to do with less, you tend to do better. Because when times get tough, you understand how to cope with it. We continued on talking after that. And he told me, he said, we were discussing the Philippines and how resourceful they are over there. And how, they just know how to use so little, get so much out of so little. And as we continued talking, I said, have you ever heard of Pat Pat? I think it's called Put Put Tuck Tuck. I think it's T-A-T-A. I think. I can't pronounce it. I can't even remember how they say it. It's basically food that came from a trash that was recycled. And I know some people probably think I'm kidding when I say that, or that I don't know what I'm talking about. But people will actually go to the restaurants, collect bags of trash, take it back, sort it. Silverware gets boiled, as in plasticware, I should say, gets cleaned, boiled, stacked. Plates, if it's a kind of plate that can be reused, it'll get cleaned real quick and packaged up. Leftovers, chicken usually. They have this thing, I think it's called, I can't remember the name of it. Jollies, I think. And literally, they will take the chicken and they will boil it and try to make soup, try to get as much protein off of it. Sometimes they'll boil it and then they will clean it, re-dip it in flour, and refry it, even though it's got a lot less chicken on there because it's a leftover piece of chicken. Some might have eaten a couple pieces, bites of it, and thrown it away or whatever. But where I'm going with this is he continued on to tell me, he goes, you'll see that here in the United States. And I said, what? I said, are you saying in my lifetime? He said, I'm saying within the next 5 years. Yes, your lifetime. The next 5 years, you will see something like that here. I said, why? Why do you think that? I said, I think the economy's bad now. He goes, the economy's bad now and it's getting worse. And the U.S. is looking for someone to blame. And right now it happens to be, sometimes it's illegals. Maybe it's Russia. Maybe it's China. There's always going to be someone to blame. And when you look at history, it's funny because we've always blamed somebody else. Now this $36 trillion, why do we owe $36 trillion? We're going to blame somebody. Things are getting bad. And like I said, I know some people out there ain't going to like this video. It's not going to be too much longer. But things are getting bad. The $36 trillion, that's our fault. We dug that hole. And at some point, we're either going to bury ourselves or they're going to have to do something drastic to pay it off. And someone is going to have to foot the bill. Now, I've heard people say every American owes $30,000, $40,000 or whatever it is. I'm not paying it. Most of you wouldn't pay it either. If all of a sudden they said, hey, we need your $30,000 to pay off the debt, none of us are going to give it up. None of us probably even have it. The idea of, oh, you'll have to sell your property and give it up. You'll own nothing and be happy, all this stuff. I said, no, that ain't happening. You know, what's going to happen, you'll own nothing and be happy, I believe, comes down to people are already in debt. I probably shouldn't have said that comment, because whenever the algorithm hears that comment, it don't like it for some reason. But that's the truth. You know, the truth of the matter is we owe that money. And they're going to do one of two things. They're going to either inflate it away along with your dollars. And that's where a lot of precious metals come into play. That's where even cryptos come into play. But I'm not convinced of cryptos. I think cryptocurrencies was a trap. It's interesting what happened yesterday. We saw the interest rates come down by 0.25%. But yet we've seen precious metals fall. We've seen stock market fall. We've seen cryptocurrencies fall. Why? Technically, when interest rates come down, the dollar should be getting weaker. We're doing free money, basically. The dollar should be getting weaker, which means prices should be going up, but yet they all came down. We don't have many more weeks of this administration. I'm a little worried that something bad could happen either before or even after. I mean, I guess something bad will happen either before or after. But it's scary to think what could happen. That's why a lot of us stack precious metals. Precious metals, people recognize that as money. And if all of a sudden they lost faith in the dollar or the fiat currencies of the world, they're going to look for something else to be accepted as money. And once that happens, that's it. That's a game changer. Who knows what's going to happen? But for now, the purpose of this video is I want people just to reflect a little bit on their life and think about, you know, are you being resourceful? Could you look for ways to cut a little bit here and there? I'm not saying you go hungry. I'm not saying cut out your memories, not give anybody anything for Christmas or whatever. I'm just saying take a look at where you stand. And anybody that's stacking silver has a reason to be grateful, because we have opportunities with that silver. That's one of the reasons why I want to go to the Philippines. It's not just because, oh, my dollars will go so much further. It's also because I want to see, it sounds weird maybe, I want to see what poverty is like. That way I have, or feel like I have more reasons to be grateful for everything that I do have. Because I can tell you, I didn't feel good about myself. After he pointed out what I had said today, I almost wanted to cry right there. Because I knew what I had said and what I had done. And that's not being grateful for what you have when that happens. You know, I should have been, but I just wasn't for that minute. And I felt bad. And I'm not ashamed to say it. You know, I try to live a good life, and I try to work hard to build the future, and as many of you do. But, you know, sometimes we make bad choices. And when we do, you know, it's good to own up to it. It's good to confess it a little bit, you know. So, with that being said, like I said, I know this video is not my typical type of video. But I wanted to talk about it, get it off my shoulders, I guess you can say. You know, you can only say so much at the gas station. But I was super excited. I was thankful to hit $1,000. It was a nice win. I ended up, first I went to get a hamburger, but I was kind of insulted. I said, I'm going to treat myself and go out for fast food. I used to love Burger King. And I don't know how many of you guys have had a burger in a while. I would almost say that was a joke to have gotten that as a burger. But that was not a joke. That was the hamburger that I got. I was like, what in the world? It is so tiny. I said, that ain't even 3 bites. Yeah, I said, I should have just made it at home. I don't eat out much, so that's why it was so comical. And then I sent a picture to my buddy, who's a foreigner, and he goes, dude, you know, I know you don't get out much to see, but prices are going up higher and higher, and the quantity of what you're getting is lower and lower. And that's the problem with fiat dollars. Everything is losing, the money is losing value too quick, and everything is going up higher and higher. Inflation ain't going to stop. It's going to get worse. Start preparing now. with that being said, thank you all for watching. I hope you all hit the thumbs up button, because I know, like I said, this video is going to do horrible, but I got it off my chest, and that was the purpose. Making these videos sometimes helps me as much as it helps other people. So thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think, and I will see you guys again on T-Square Talk. Take care, everybody. Have a great day. Bye-bye.